Welcome to Snow Talks on Shore. I'm Albie Soul, and we'll start out with a roundup of the avalanche conditions for the interior ranges and the Rocky Mountains, looking forward into the weekend. Well, things have gotten better, a little bit better, but it's just gone from really bad to just bad. We're seeing in many places now multiple layers of instabilities in the snowpack, so it's a very complex snowpack. Not, to be sure, not as tricky as last weekend, but still very tricky, so we need to be still very, very cautious going forward. A little bit better in the interior ranges, but as I say, very complex. You still need to be very, very cautious. As we head into the southern part of the forecast area here, because it's a little bit warmer, it's a little bit better, but again, still places that you want to stay out of, thin snowpack regions, bigger slopes, lots of variation in the snowpack, not so good. Coming to the Rockies, it's colder here. It takes longer for those persistent instabilities to stabilize, so it's definitely worse here in the Rockies. And now we've got this storm coming down through the prairies onto the front ranges here. We're going to see quite a bit of snow loading then, most likely. So actually, Kansas country, we're looking at high conditions again, probably heading into Friday, and certainly very, very tricky. We need to be super, super cautious. So on the subject of being cautious, we haven't had a very good week. We've seen 8 fatalities in 8 days. It seems that about half those fatalities are folks who didn't know that they were getting into avalanche terrain at all, didn't know how to recognize the danger they were in. And the other group that's really concerning me are people who do have the basic training, but they're going to very aggressive places, and the level of training they've got is really not preparing them for that. Or people who do in fact have that advanced level of training, but haven't been back to get benchmarked, haven't updated their training, and are not really on top of their game. And both those two groups we see in the groups of fatalities that we've had in the last little while. So the message here is, as a professional, we're constantly being updated. It's part of our job. We're constantly also being benchmarked, working with other professionals, getting that sense of what is the right technique. But as a non-professional, it's very difficult to get that unless you do go back for a course and get updated. So I would really encourage those folks who feel like they know what they're doing to really reflect on whether they are or not. So even if you do have that training, even if you have the advanced level of training, I think a really good thing to reflect on is, if you're doing the biggest, boldest line out there, whether you're on a sled, a snowboard, skis, whatever, if you're always the one who's first in, always doing the grandest line, you're probably taking far too much risk. If you're in the middle of the pack, so some people are out there doing things that you think are crazy, and some people are not doing stuff that seems very interesting, then you're probably exactly in the right place. On that note, let's be safe out there this weekend. Let's be cautious. Check the bulletin before you go. Thank you very much for watching Snow Talks on Shore, and I'll see you next weekend.